date is today. I think it's about the 9th of April. And we're just going into the cottage to give you an idea of us and how we live, I guess, while we're down here. This is the sitting room with a fireplace, and there are two settees. This one from Chaddsley. My dad's coffee table, looking the worse for wear, I'm afraid. Television. Telephone. The dining area over there. The door outside. The bedding is actually airing out there at the moment in the sunshine. It does make it smell nice. The bed in the corner here, I'm afraid our clothes are on it because we're packing up, I suppose, in a moment to go. You can hear Alan in the garden, he's the one with the bark. The steps go up to the loft area, which I shall show in a moment. Bookcase with a fair collection of books. And that's where we came in. The car's parked there at the moment. The kitchen area has a bit of everything I think that you need. There's the fridge freezer, microwave in the corner there, an electric cooker. It's all very English, I'm afraid. The sink, which is set into the wall, so there's no under sink cupboard. There's the I hesitate to pronounce bœuf d'oeil, which is the eye of the beef window. Eye of the beef. The bread box, which is standing here at the moment, is usually on the floor, but because we're en passage, oh look at that, thank you Alan, he's put a dirty saucepan and a bowl right in the middle. Electric kettle, so you can have lots of cups of tea. MFI best cupboards going around here. The bin, which doesn't have a top on at the moment because we've just been cleaning up. A little bit of Royal Worcester ware here to make us think of home. And hanging up various bits which may or may not. The blue beams there, which everybody who's French says, gosh, aren't they English? Très anglais. And we sort of say to our English friends, we've painted them blue because we wanted them to look French. Alan's cupboard, very successful here, covers all the electricity and the Dewberry Firkins which go on behind there. Horrible ugly black thing it was, so in fact it's nice to have a cupboard there. This cupboard here, cunningly disguised as a picture with ducks on it, actually hides the keys, so when you come in you can sort of make yourself tidy. And straight through here, so we're going past the fireplace now, into the bathroom. I should probably fall over things, I'm hopeless with no video camera. Alright, the toilet and bidet and the shower and the bath. A little table there with my Make Me Beautiful things. I'm trying to backing down in now. Okay, so we've just come through that door. The sink. The alcove, which one day I shall put perhaps, I don't know, scented candles or something in it. Alan's patented hanging shelf, and the window letting in the sunshine and a view of the back of our car being packed. The ironing board lives in here as well. Okay, so the sitting room, very comfy. It's housed us for the last 10 days. I'm very grateful for the sanity which it's brought me. I'm now going to go around and into the bedroom, which we don't use. Alan and I use the bed here. It's a 4-foot bed, quite cosy really. But there is a bedroom through here. Oh, there's a vacuum cleaner too. Unfortunately, the furniture in here is not really fitting for the room. It's just a matter of storing it. So my Welsh dresser from 95 Bromyard Road sits bare and unhappily in here. There's a chest containing toys. That's the rag rug, which is normally on the floor, but we're packed up obviously to go. We pack everything up so that if there are any mice visitors, they're not going to get into things that matter. Lovely view of the garden from this window, and the gorse bush, which is, well, a broom bush which is in flower. But coming back round without making you feel too seasick, you can see we've got double bunk beds in here. They're 2'6". They're comfortable enough for a short period. There's a more comfortable single bed too, actually in here, so this would sleep 3 quite happily. There's a cupboard in the corner which at the moment just houses blankets, and on top there some rattan mats for sunbathing in the garden. The only hanging space in here at the moment is behind the door, but it's functional. I hate the floor in here, always have done, but when I asked the builder to take it up, he said it was a good floor and he wouldn't hear of it. Right, I'm going to sort of switch off now, and then I'm going to go up to the stairs to the attic. Right, these suffice at the moment as stairs. Oh, by the way, as you're going up the stairs, there are games on top of the cupboard here, so that, in fact, if evenings are wet or cold, there's plenty to do. But these steps are a little rickety. I wouldn't advise them for general purpose. The video will take a little time to adjust now, no doubt, but we're up into an area which we call the bedroom to be. Obviously at the moment we've got furniture stored up here, but the reason for loving this room as much as I do is the roof. It's called a charpente, sorry about the French, just a carpenter's sort of rough way of getting the roof up there. And it will be a 20-foot square room eventually, which we may or may not subdivide. There's a bed here. I'm afraid it's piled up with things that must be kept off the floor again. A lovely French bed, 4 foot again, with a mattress which Wynne described as being similar to sleeping on a bed of dead ferrets. So ultimately mattresses will be arranged. There's a modern mattress there, a perfectly new one, which has never had a bed to go with it yet, because that's a 4'6" mattress and we haven't got the size beds to go under it. Pembroke table is unhappily up here too. I say unhappily because I think things like this really should be on show. I'm going to do a kind of jolt now as I get up. So this room has 2 windows, this one looking over the, I'll try and walk you through. Oh, we get a nice view of a light bulb there. Alan's door that he's just made, which goes through to a kind of lean-to area at the side of the room. This window looks over the garden and the pool, which we're going to pack up any moment now, ready for the summer. It's been emptied and cleaned, it's just ready to go. Alan's out there sweeping. Nice view of the lean-to barn. But back into the room, there is a telephone extension cable come up here, but obviously none of the fine work has been done, as has downstairs. The roof has been lined with black plastic, which keeps out the worst of the dust, but it's not exactly dust-free up here. I shall sleep up here next time, I think. The window, which Alan has cleverly sort of put together, was very, very rough, but at least now is just waiting to be painted and sorted out. The plaster work now on this side goes right up to the beams, and has been experimenting with colouring the beams up there. But obviously around that side of the room, the gap between where the roof timbers went out at the top of the wall has just been filled with polystyrene expanded stuff, which we will plaster over in the fullness of time. The floor has been covered with what we thought was kind of, I don't know, thin board of some sort. It'll mean that it'll have to be carpeted up here ultimately. My idea of having polished oak boards, I'm afraid, went when I saw the quality of the oak boards that we got. They were a little friable, to say the least. The chimney breast here provides this room with quite a degree of warmth when the fire's lit downstairs, but that area on that side and that side still has to be plastered. You can see what we were up against. The quality of the stonework here leaves a fair bit to be desired. The stonework is just piled upon pile with mud holding it together. Okay, so the exit, a little dangerous at the moment, down the steps, but one day we'll have a proper stairway here, and then that bed will not be there. I'm going down. Right, I've cleared the table now outside. This table obviously lives inside when we are not here, but it lives outside here when we are here. We have breakfast here and most of our meals. Usually on the piece of lawn just in front of the patio here, or terrace. We have the wooden swing seat from 95 Bromyard Road. But because it's spring, we haven't actually got everything out. Alan's fence has stood up to the rigours of the winter quite well. The little Clematis Montana Rubens is in flower, and the daffodils are well and truly over, although their greenery is still very much evident in the garden. There's a hellebore and several other plants which have been overwintered quite well, including, from my gardening point of view, I don't think you can see it terribly clearly. It's a Judas tree and it's coming into pink flower. I didn't even know they flowered. What is new, behind the Judas tree and coming from the catalpa in the corner, right the way across the garden to the furthest edge of the orchard, right the way up there, ooh dear, makes it go very blurred, is the new fence. Peter and Alan have spent a day putting up this new fence. It's a stock-proof fence, and amazingly enough the honeysuckle has discovered it within 24 hours and has started its business of twining round. Incredible. The fence is the beginning of us staking our claim on the territory here, I guess. The lawn's not looking too bad. Sorry about the patch of dandelions there. I have come around with my poison, but of course it hasn't rained in yet. But the grass has fared very well, considering its infrequent cutting. We've poisoned underneath, I say poisoned, broussilage, no, ce n'est pas là, désherbant, a deherbant, how about that, underneath here, so that this area should be free of weeds when we come back. The piece of plastic has gone down as our claim, if you like, for the next piece of the potager, which is looking very well at the moment. We have 2 rows of rat. They are a very long, strange potato. We have some French cabbages, something like tête Pierre or Pierre's tête or something. And on the far side there will be some carrots, we hope. Plenty of strawberries, although I think the birds will eat them before we do. Some onions have gone in. The cassis bushes, which Michel gave us last year, have produced lots of flowers and will therefore fruit well. Again, if we had a net over, I suppose we might get to eat some of them. More shallots and more spunta potatoes have gone in there. Apart from that, the garden is a lovely sight. The bird song, the constant joy. That's the line prop. The swimming pool has caused us some grief this holiday. It does every year, really. But clearly we've tried stretching the bash, the black plastic, over the top, and it always lifts off and disappears, and people come rushing round putting it back up for us. And we tried elastic grippers and all sorts of things, but now we have cleaned it out and lined it with a black bash, but lined it close to itself. So yes, it probably will fill up with rainwater, but at least it won't be on the blue lining inside, which is critical to keep it clean, ready for the pull. So we have my clothes pegs, the entire contents of my clothes peg bag, and le scotch, sellotape, 3 times round the outside. It's got as much chance as working as anything else we've tried, I guess. If I stroll over here just slightly, we can see that the shrubs in the lawn have taken reasonably well. Again, they've had a bad time because Alain, the French gardener, I'll call him a gardener, that's being kind. He comes round to hack and slash with the lawnmower. I think he rides it like a cowboy, actually. But he has damaged a number of the smaller shrubs to the point where they're not going to survive. However, interestingly again, this stone split. That's what the frost was like here. Apparently it was sort of minus something or other degrees, and the French were really kind of put out about it. The osier bush here, osier because it's used for making baskets, I put this in really to show Jackie. We cut that right down to its stem at the end of last summer. And damn me if it hasn't kind of sprouted another 8 feet. I hope eventually to use the shape of that shrub, or that osier there, to make a seat, an arbor, to weave it round into a kind of half a coracle shape that you can sit in and be protected from the sun, which is quite intense even though it's April now. The little hedge, I'm sorry about the way I'm walking, the ground is made very uneven by the tub. Little apple tree, naughty. Okay, I think we're on again now. Sorry, there's a slight technical hitch. The little hornbeam hedge has fared quite well. And as I say, the small apple trees, what happens is, you see, I keep pressing the wrong button, and instead of getting a close-up picture, I get the thing switched off. But the little apple trees are actually coming on quite nicely, and they're in leaf. Eventually they will be espaliered along the perimeter fence there. This side of the garden has done quite well. We thought we'd lost the eucalyptus here, but in fact it is in bud along its trunk. The Virginia creeper has loved this corner and clearly will cover very nicely the area of brickwork there, as has the Queen Elizabeth rose that which Janet bought us. It loves that corner too. I put in some Marjorie Fair rose bushes there, which will go with the Charles de Mille. Unfortunately, I've lost 3 along the edge. Again, I think because of Alain's cowboy lawn cutting. The tamarisk here, looking a bit sort of fine. Even the yucca likes it, considering it's Australian, not too bad. Okay, the view from the bedroom, looking through the window. Okay, we were in there a few moments ago. Notice the duck curtains. And here we are back again with this little patio area here. Ultimately, I think this area, which is so hot, blisteringly hot in the summer, should be afforded some shade by the 2. There's one there and another this side, the sumac. But failing that, I don't know whether you can see in the cracked plaster work where the beams come out above the French door there, would be a good place for a sole plate, so that we can eventually have some sort of pergola arrangement coming out here, maybe with some grapevines dingle-dangling down. Well, that's the cottage from the rear. I shall now go back in, and your last view will be of the outside of the cottage from the front. Okay, now the little house is well and truly put to sleep until we come again, or until somebody else comes down here. And we're coming out now into the brightness of the afternoon sun. Remember, this is April the 9th. Our fence stretching on along the track. The orchard, denuded almost of trees now, because the old trees have reached a point where they're not even very healthy anymore. We had to take, sadly, an old apple tree out of the corner because it had started to die and split, and the old cherry tree in the centre there is also dying back. The compost heap is huge. Richard made this compost heap a couple of years ago with Erica. An old cherry tree came out there too. But this fence is pretty magnificent, and now gives us a good strong border along the length of our garden. Thank you to Peter for that. Okay, so it's back down the track, sadly, for the last few steps. The cottage all closed up now, the table taken inside, ready for the summer, when it'll come out again for those early breakfasts in the morning sun and those drinks.